All right. When you first log into Naxxa, this is what you're going to see. You got the map over here and all these different numbers. This left column, you're going to spend all of your time in the Opportunities tab. Don't worry about these other tabs for now, but and then this column here, basically you have a list of parcels. So this is just giving you all the parcels that it's showing on a map in list form. That's all it is. Um, so in Utah, there's millions of parcels. And basically, what Naxxa is doing initially is saying, out of the millions of parcels in Utah, which ones are developable and um, what can be developed on it. And so it's saying out of the millions of parcels that there are, there's 180,503 that are quote unquote developable. And there's a lot that goes into whether something's developable, frontage, you know, building on the property, how much of the property is taken up by the building, utilities, like all these different things that go into whether it's developable, topography, uh, that I'm not going to go into of how we're determining that, but that's what it is. So after we determine if something's developable or not, the next thing is, well, what can be developed on the property and why? Like, why would that product and that number of units be able to be built on this property? So as you zoom in here, you'll start to see all these different parcels that are highlighted. Um, Let me just click on one to kind of give you an example. So if I click on this parcel here and hit more information, it's going to give you ownership information, mailing address, usually to give you the street address. Um, Software is not perfect, so you're going to have missing information every once in a while, but for the most part, it's pretty dang accurate. Um, So it determined that this was a developable piece of land, and we kind of determined, or we kind of came up with three different hypotheticals. So it's going to give you three different development hypotheticals that, um, what could be built on the property. This one is zoned for residential agriculture 5. So RA5, if you want to dive deeper into the zoning code and what's allowed in RA5, you can hit this link here. It'll take you straight to the, okay, this one's in the county, so um, it's probably not incorporated yet. So, uh, yeah, let me just look here. I thought we had a incorporated or unincorporated setting. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Unincorporated parcel or not. It says false. So anyway, you hit the zoning code or you hit this link and it takes you to the zoning code and you can read what can be built on it. Um, but yeah, back to the hypothetical. So basically, it's saying based off the current zoning, you could build 1 to 3 homes on this property or do assisted living. Um, but then it's going to give you a neighbor hypothetical and a proxy hypothetical. And what that means is it's saying based off the neighboring parcels, everything that's touching this property, um, what's the development that's already been built on that property? And if we pulled that onto this and we pulled that density onto this, what could be built and how many units could be built? And so that's what's giving you the neighbor hypothetical. And so this one, you have single family next door, and you have townhome pads next door with different densities. So you look at this and you say, okay, uh, based off this development, I could build. Let me just pull it up again. I could build single family anywhere from 45 to 75 units, or single family 65 units plus. So we broke it up into ranges, just because every company, it seems like, has a range of number of units that they would like to do. And then it's looking at this neighboring parcel and saying, okay, these are townhomes. What's the density on that? And based off that product type and density, you could build 81 plus units of townhomes. So that's the neighboring. Proxy, the proxy hypothetical is similar, but instead of just looking at the parcels that are directly touching it, we're going 2 or 3 parcels away and saying, what's this? So like this one, for example, it's probably pulling this development onto this as well and saying, based off of this development, what could be built on the property. And so those are the different hypotheticals that we're giving you based off zoning, neighbor, and proxy development. It'll give you the acreage, other information that it gives you if it's ever been listed or is currently listed. It'll give you that information here. If there's an overlay, we'll give you the link to the overlay code there. If there's a building on the property, it'll tell you. And then part of what Naxxa does as well is it's tracking all projects that are coming up through the city. So any project that's getting entitled right now, you'll be able to see that. It's also tracking projects that are currently under development. So they've already been approved through the city and now they're actually being built out. We're tracking all of that, and so you'll be able to see if it's part of a project or not, which I'll dive into that later. Um, and then another cool tool that we have is a market analysis tool, and I'm not going to go into crazy detail, but basically I can do a quick market analysis on this property. So like, it's saying that this property is 16.53 acres. Let's say I want to subdivide it and build quarter-acre lots, and I'm going to subtract 25% of the property. That's going to be dedicated towards infrastructure. I hit run analysis, and let's say I just want to do single-family property types. And yeah, let's do new build, existing building and land. Anyway, I can do run analysis, and it's going to give me a quick market analysis of the area. So that's a cool tool that we have that we could dive deeper on. But so yeah, that's kind of what it's doing initially. That's why it's highlighting the parcel. That's the information that it's giving you. I can then go in here and start to filter down by, let's say I'm only looking for townhome projects. I can select all townhome. Again, we broke this up into ranges just because what we found is most companies will say, I build anywhere from 2 to 30 townhomes, but I won't do more than that. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew or whatever. Or you get the bigger players that are like, I don't do anything less than 50 units. And so they want to have a range of 50 plus or 50 to 100, whatever it may be. But then you can also go in and filter for exact numbers. So if I'm looking for townhome pads, anywhere from 4 to, let's say 50, I can filter that way as well. So now what it's doing is it's saying, okay, out of all the developable pieces of land, where could you build? Let me just clear this one. Out of all the developable pieces of land that we've identified, where could I build 4 townhomes or 4 to 50 townhomes? And so you start going in here and you'll start to see that it's going to highlight parcels in either green, yellow, or red. And basically what that's saying is the green parcel is saying this is already zoned for what you're trying to build and is big enough, the parcel is big enough to build the product type and the number of units that you're looking for. So that's what green's telling you. Yellow is saying, so yellow is saying this currently isn't zoned for what you're trying to do. So on this one's still agriculture. This one's still zoned agriculture. But it's saying based off the neighbor parcels, you could probably get a rezone and build townhomes on this. So that's what yellow is saying. And then red saying it's not zoned for what you're trying to do. There's no neighboring parcels that have the product you're looking for, but 2 or 3 parcels away, there is the product that you're looking for with the right density. So that's why it's highlighting red. The ones that aren't highlighted are either not developable, there's not anything close to what you're trying to do, so it doesn't even highlight it. So yeah, that's kind of what it's saying. Um, and then let's say I want to only see, there's a bunch of different filters on here. I can filter by location, city, county, specific areas like South Utah County, for example. Um, I can filter by zoning code. So if I know a certain zoning code that I want to search for in a certain city, you can filter that way. If I want to only see the ones that are listed versus not listed, I can do that. And let's say I only want to see the low hanging fruit. I only want to see the parcels that are already zoned for what I'm trying to build. I can just see those ones if I want. Now it's only going to be the green ones. Um, if I only want to see ones with no buildings, you can do that as well. So a lot of different ways that you can use these filters. And then all this is telling you is these are the filters you have selected right now. Um, so every filter that you select up here, it'll tell you that you've got it selected here, and I can clear it out just like that. So now it's showing me all of them. So that's kind of how you use that. And let's say I want to start building a list of parcels that I want to go after, um, which we talk about this all the time, being proactive versus reactive. Being reactive is just, you kind of react to everything that comes your way. Agents send you something, or, partners send you something. You kind of just react, and then you look at the parcel, determine if it's something that fits your buy box, figure out if it's, you know what I mean? So that's the reactive side. Proactive is, okay, this is what I want to do. Here's all the parcels that I want to chase after, and now you're the one going after these projects rather than waiting for the projects to come to you. So let's say I want to build a list of parcels that I can chase. I can, again, this is showing me 608 matching parcels. That's the parcels that it's showing on this map view. I can add all of these to a list. Um, so let's say I want to add it to a current list that I have. I hit save. Yes, I want to bulk save 608 parcels to this list. There's already some on the list. Um, and so it looks like it's, yeah. Anyway, so I added all those to a list. Now I can go into the list filter here and select that same list. And there's already parcels on that list that I added it to. That's why it's 655. But anyway, so now it's only showing me the parcels that are part of that list, and I've already filtered it down. So now it's not going to be showing me any colors. It's just showing me green, since it's only showing me the ones on the list, and we're not using any filters. But then again, once I'm in the list, I can still filter. You know what I mean? I can still filter inside the list. So anyway, hope that makes sense. Um, and then as I start to go and look at these parcels, you'll notice this little pops up when I hover over it. I can either like it, dislike it, say that I viewed it, or I can just delete it off my list altogether. Let's say it's something that just does not fit with what I'm looking for. I can just delete it. That way I'm not gonna see it again. Let's say this one I want to delete too. Yes, delete. You can see it disappears. Um, if I click on a parcel and hit more information, after I viewed it, once I hover over it, it'll tell me that I viewed it. Um, and everyone kind of has their own system of how they like to go about, chasing land or determining if it's something that they want to pursue further. Um, what we like to do is, you know, we're looking at a parcel of land. First thing we like to do is call the city, or we'll get information online. So we'll kind of walk the property virtually with our little Google guy. So you can walk it and just kind of look around, see if you'd be interested. But then the next thing we like to do is say, okay, let's call the city. And then we have a list of questions that we like to ask the city. So it could be, is there anything preventing this project from moving forward? Has anyone tried to do a project on this property? What prevented it from moving forward? Just stuff like that. So let's say I wanted to add a tag called call city. So now that one has the tag call city. Let's say I just did a few more. Let's say I liked it, whatever. So yeah, you can start going through here and start to add your own tags. Let's say you have a tag that you want to send a mailer, to people, or you have a tag that's, door knock. You actually want to go and knock on this person's door, and so yeah, you can add your own different tags. Every company's going to have their own way of doing things. Now I can come in here and be like, okay, let's filter by, I only want to see the ones that I need to call the city on. Now it's only showing me these three. Or let's see the ones that I want to send mailers to. Now it's only going to show me the ones that I need to send mailers to. So that's how you use that. I can filter by parcels that I liked or disliked. Let's say I only want to see the ones I disliked. I can just see them all in bulk, delete them off the list, or whatever. Or parcels that I viewed. So you can filter that way. Um, and then you can start to, so let's say these were all parcels that you want to send a mailer to, for example. I can come in here, go to grid view. It's showing me all the different parcels. Right now it's showing me 20 per page. I can bump that up to 100. Download this as a list. It's going to download it into a spreadsheet. I can select all the information that I want it to download. Um, I can either do that. I can just download all of it, or I can select the specific information that I'm looking for. And now I can upload that list. Let's say there's software out there that you can send mailers to people. Now I have that list that I can send mailers to, or if this is a list that I need to, I want to skip trace to find ownership information, I can upload this list into a skip trace service, whatever it may be. So yeah, you can export the data. And I think that covers the parcel side. The other side of it is going to be projects. So like I said, you're going to be able to know if a parcel is part of a project or not. It'll tell you that information, um, because we are tracking. So part of a current project. So it looks like this one it is part of a project because someone's trying to get a rezone, it says. Um, so yeah, on the project side, let's say I go over to projects. Actually, let me clear my filters. On the project side, so this is showing me all projects that, you know, this is like an established neighborhood. So projects that are already developed, they've already been built out, or projects that are currently being entitled or currently under development. So if we click on one, let's just click on this one. It looks like there's this one's not being built yet. So we hit more information. This is saying, let me see. Let's do a different one. Let's just click on this one, for example. So we click on this project, we hit more information. It's going to give you ownership information, just like the parcels. It's going to give you, buildable number and style of lots. It's going to give you lot sizes. So it's going to give you all this different information. But the cool thing with this is it's saying there's 351 parcels that are part of this project. It's going to break it up by blue and red. Blue is saying that it's buildable. Red is saying that there's already building on the property. So if I want to say show parcels, now when I go in here, it told me there's 3 buildable parcels. So out of these 351 parcels, there's only 3 that don't currently have a house on it. So as you can see, these 2 are empty still. There's one more somewhere. Right here. So it looks like this one. Okay, so I'm not sure what that is, but anyway. So yeah, it's saying there's 3 buildable parcels. So you can start finding, maybe projects that have available lots that you can, um, get in on the project that way. So this just allows you to find either raw ground and get a project that way, or let's say you want to find projects that are fully papered or on their way to being fully papered. I can find projects that way. Or if I'm trying to find projects that they're fully developed, they're ready to be built on. Um, you can find it that way. So kind of the same as the parcels where you can filter by property type, whether it's apartments, townhomes, single family, whatever. I can filter by lot size. So if I'm a builder that, I like to focus on higher density or maybe more luxury lots, bigger lots, you can filter that way. You can filter by location, same thing, and then project specific. So I can filter by project status, whether that's concept, seeking preliminary from city council, seeking preliminary from planning commission, uh, papered. So you can filter it that way. You can filter by project name. So if you know the name of the project, you can search that here. Um, Search by project owner. So if you're like, okay, I want to see what so and so builder is doing, I can search that way as well. And again, this is to help people find projects at whatever stage they want to find projects at. Raw ground all the way up to fully developed finished lots. Or if I'm a onesie twosie kind of guy, I can find buildable lots in an established neighborhood, um, whatever the case is. So that's on the project side, um, and that basically sums up some of what Naxxa does. And there's a lot more to it, and I'm probably missing a bunch, but that's the gist of it.